High school sports, we've got it covered. Overtime, sponsored by Wendy's. They got you for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything in between.
Again, everyone, and welcome to Overtime. If high school basketball is your passion, you have come to the right place. I'm Scott Leber.
And I'm David Greenberg. For the next half hour, we are laser focused on high school hoops. We'll check out Rockford Lutheran nailing down a perfect season and feature the straw that stirs the Crusaders senior guard, Zach Darris.
And I'll chat with the ultra-talented Stockton guard, Tiana Timpey. She'll be playing major college basketball next season.
This was the final week of the regular season, and what a season it was in the Nick 10. 3 of the 4 division races for the boys and the girls weren't settled until Tuesday night when the dust finally cleared. We knew which 4 teams would play in the 2 conference championship games. Those championship games played out tonight.
And we will start with the boys. The scene was East High School, and the B division champs, the E-Rabs, hosted the A Division champs, the Harlem Huskies. East beat Harlem handily in their 1 regular season game a month ago. This is what they were playing for, that big prize. Now, Biggie Luster will create a turnover here, and you know what's coming. That's what's coming. Biggie gets him going there, but Lathan Lewis comes back on the drive here for the Huskies. East led at halftime by only 3. On to the second half now. Dominic Dawsey here. Look at this up and under move like he invented that move. Oh, my. Eric Gibbons, though, came back with back-to-back 3-pointers for the E-Rabs. Then it's going to be Luster on a breakaway. He scored 19 points to lead all scorers. But you know what? Harlem just kept hanging around. Trenton Tucker with a fourth-quarter 3-ball kept Harlem within 7. But then Luster will find his sidekick, Patience Harris down court. That's 2 and 1 and a flex. The E-Rabs win the game 59-50. They clinch their 2nd conference championship in 3 years. How's that baby feel, huh?
It feel good and kind of heavy too, but it feel good. Feel good to be holding this.
Just tell me about your passion to get this job done here tonight and to clinch this title.
Oh, my passion, I drive hard for this. Like, we work hard all year for this. Like, we were meant for this moment. This big moment is for us. That's why we come out champs.
Seemed like everybody did their job for you. Your role players, they contributed. Your stars played like stars.
That's what we've been trying to get these guys to buy in all year. You know, we got a good problem to have right now is that we're extremely deep. And a lot of guys, you know, they might not get to play as much as they would like, but we were stressing all years about accepting their role, accepting what was better for the team and then the individual. And it's just a testament to how good of kids these are to be able to embrace those roles and be able to accept that so we can be standing here today as champions.
Well, this night was twice as big for Harlem fans as for anyone else. Not only did their boys play for a title, so did the girls. They also won their division.
Yeah, their reward was a matchup against a very good Hononegah team. The Lady Indians dominated the conference for 11 straight games before suffering their first and only loss last Saturday to Guilford. This game was played over at Harlem. Hononegah's been dominant the whole year, and it continued early in this one. That's Carly LeMay with the drive and finish. Harlem cut the lead in the second half thanks to the 3-ball from Maya Davidson. She also did this, the drive, the gorgeous Euro step, and getting it to go with the left hand. But as I said, the Lady Indians were there for the response. Kick out to Emma Clark. She drills it from the corner. She had 20. Then Haley Warren picks up the loose ball and takes it all the way to the rack. Then she buries one from downtown. And just like that, the Hononegah Indians are your 2021 Nick 10 champions. After battling through such an unusual season, everyone is proud of how they were able to come away with the trophy.
You know, they were ready to go right from day one and you know, put in all that effort, you know, every single day. It was a grind, a different type of season where you're playing 3 games a week, and, you know, they were ready to play every single day.
I mean, just like knowing that we could end up playing and that this could be a possibility, like winning the conference championship, you know, it's just like, okay, it was worth it. You know, all the practices, the 3 games a week, everything, and it was definitely worth it now.
Couple of awesome games. Congratulations to our 2 champions.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, the rest of the Nick 10 boys and girls teams also got to take the court tonight one last time. We've got that action coming your way next, including the Boylan Titans taking on the Jefferson Jayhawks. You're watching Overtime.
In a normal season, the only teams that finish on a winning note are the teams that either win state or win the state consolation game. But tonight, a whole bunch of Nick 10 teams had that same opportunity.
That's right, because they all got to take the court one final time for a series of divisional crossover games. We're going to start at Jefferson, where it was the battle for third place in the conference for the boys. The Jayhawks, who finished second in Division B, hosted Boylan, which finished second in Division A. First possession of the game, Antonio Levy gets the block there. Then they push the ball down the court, and guess who it's going to wind up with? Big Tone's got it back, rumbles inside. He scored 24. But the Titans were on fire from three. Austin Hocking gets a screen from his teammate, and he drains it. Boylan again. It's Tony Apino's turn from downtown. This one's going to be good. Apino led the Titans with 12 points. The Jayhawks answer. The cross-court pass finds Latarius Tate. He doesn't hesitate. He rattles it home. Titans one more time, though, with good ball movement. They'll find Tristan Ford, the freshman, nothing but net. And the Titans pick up another big-time victory over Jefferson, 56-46, so they take third place.
At Hononegah, the Indians hosted Auburn for fifth place. Darius Maxey taking it up, kick into the corner for Adrian Agee, and he gets the friendly roll and knocks it down. Indians in transition now. Bounce pass ahead to Carson Roberts, who lays it in between a pair of defenders. The Knights were feeling it from deep. This one from the junior, Kiwani Neal. How about Gabe Rossler, showing off his range on the other end. Just spots up and knocks it down. This time, Rossler finishes on the cut to the basket. So Hononegah comes in fifth place in the Nick 10 with the 55-45 win.
Next, we go to Guilford. The Vikings hosted Belvedere North. First quarter, Blue Thunder ball. It's Evan Horgan who will drain a three. On the next possession, it's the Vikings back and forth. They get some space for Bryson Hodge to let it fly. All nylon there. Belvedere North, though, not backing down. Ethan Andre uses a screen. Right there, sets him free for the open shot. He buries it. Later, Blue Thunder dribble. The handoff goes to Horgan, who again will nail the shot. Guilford with some good defense here. Hodge the steal, will take it all the way, and one. Guilford wins this one, 43-39. In the other Nick 10 boys game, Freeport ended this season on a three-game win streak, topping Belvedere 66-58. Well, it was Hononegah and Harlem that played in the girls' conference championship game, which we saw earlier, but there were two other games tonight, I'll tell you, that were fantastic matchups.
Yeah, one of those games had Boylan hosting Jefferson. The other had last year's champion Auburn hosting Guilford. Auburn missed out on playing for the championship tonight because of a tiebreaker, and it was Guilford who last weekend handed current champion Hononegah its only loss. So let's go to Auburn and see what happened in this one. Crafty move by Brooklyn Gray. Behind the back, gets the jumper to fall. Quick catch and shoot here by Lindsay Knuth. She's not done yet. In the second half, Avery Green kicks it over to her on the baseline for two more. Gray swings it to Zakayla Evans, attacking the paint, able to get this floater to go. Tamaya Sago with the steal. Smooth finish with the left hand at the other end. After trailing by 7 at halftime, the Lady Knights rallied back to win this one 55-45, grabbing third place in the Nick 10.
Now for that Jefferson-Boylan game, the Jayhawks were the most improved team in the conference this season, and Boylan finished very strong the last 2 weeks. Jayhawks with the steal. Down the court they come. It's Carly Colson for the first points of the game. This was a close one early on. Boylan's Elle Eshelman gets it to go from the paint. Later, Boylan going to get it tipped away. Great save by Kataya Edwards. That leads to another Jayhawk basket. Alexis Truesdale off the court, off the glass and in. The other way they come. Avery Markham. It's a little jumper. That was fancy. Floater there. Sarah Colma answers. Swish for three. Boylan hangs on, picks up the win, 53-45.
In the other two Nick 10 girls games, Belvedere North took it to East, beating them 49-27, and the Freeport Pretzels ended their season in the win column, beating Belvedere 35-27. So that brings down the curtain on this Nick 10 season.
Well, it was a thrilling season. It was just way too short. Well, stick around, because up next, we will get to know maybe the most talented girls player in the state line, Stockton senior Tiana Timpey. Stockton High School has a rich history in girls basketball. The Blackhawks have had so many wonderful teams and so many talented players. This season, the Blackhawks compiled a 15-1 record. They were led by All-State guard Tiana Timpey, a four-year starter who scored nearly 2,000 points in her career. I interviewed her earlier through Zoom.
Tiana, it's been such a great season for you and for Stockton, just the one loss all season long. I know it's not a normal season, but still, how satisfying has this 5 or 6 week stretch been for you girls just to be able to get out there, play some games, and be with your teammates?
Yeah, it's been very satisfying. We are very happy that we get a chance to play this year. Us seniors were very upset when we didn't even know if we were going to have a season. Obviously, playing with a mask sucks, but we just have to deal with it. But that doesn't stop us from working hard and winning every game. So.
And the NUIC is just amazing when it comes to girls basketball. Every night it's a challenge. You're either playing an Amboy or an Eastland or an Akron or a Dakota. It's just the talent is so amazing in there. How challenging is that? And do you enjoy it? Are you glad it's that way where you have to face tough competition almost on a nightly basis?
Yes, I really like it. Usually the NUIC has 5, 4, 3 teams in the top 10 in the state. So every game, it feels like a state tournament, depending on who you play. And then when we get to regionals, sectionals, it's tough competition. You know, if we were putting separate regionals and separate sectionals, we would probably all meet in the state, down at state. So I like it a lot because it helps us a lot instead of playing, just bad teams all throughout our season. We get to play against really good teams, and I like it personally.
Now, you were on the Stockton team that went to state your freshman year.
Yep.
As you look back on your 4 years, is that kind of the moment that stands out as the highlight, or is there some other game or some other moment that you consider your most memorable?
No, it's definitely state. It's always been state. It always replays in my head every day, and I just think about it. It just left a mark on me, and I'll never forget it. So.
Now, you come from a very athletic family, and your dad used to be the head coach there of the Stockton Lady Blackhawks. So was it one of those deals where even as a small child, you were always around the game, you were tagging along with your dad to practices or whatever? Was it like that for you?
Oh, yes. I mean, my uncle coached the high school boys, and my brother played up there with him. So I was the water girl, and I would follow my brother around getting rebounds and playing with the bigger guys. And we would go out in my backyard, and I would play against my brother's friends when I was just 10. And they would still go at me. They'd still bulldoze me over, and they would play hard against me. And that's made me the player I am today. And then my dad, obviously, he coached middle school when I was younger, and I would go to his practices and just do what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, no wonder you're so outstanding going up against that, your brother and things like that. Well, you have already committed to Central Michigan to play in the Mid-American Conference. I think that's a great pick for you. I think you're going to fit in real well there. Tell me about that process and why you settled on Central Michigan as your choice.
When I visited there, after our visit, I just felt like it was the one. I mean, their style of play is my exact style of play. Schooling, academics, I want to major in exercise science, and I believe that's one of their top majors. I love the coaches and I love the players. And usually when you step on campus for a visit, you just feel nervous. But when I stepped on CMU's campus, I just felt comfortable. So I just kind of knew when I went there, I was like, this is the one. And it was kind of funny because before the day we left, my dad goes, we should just commit now. And I don't know what stopped me from it, just committing that day. But if I would go back, I would have committed that day.
What role will you play there? Will you be a point guard, a two guard? Do you have any idea how they're going to use you? And what do you feel like you have to work on between now and when you arrive at Central Michigan?
They said I would be a combo guard. So I'd be a point guard and just a regular shooting guard. But if I get a rebound, they say, go ahead, bring it up the court. So I kind of like that, how they're going to use me because those are my positions. And things I have to work on, obviously, is getting stronger and finishing stronger towards the basket and, just getting a hand in my face and being forced to shoot those shots that are going to be tougher to get off.
Tiana can do it all, David. She's a great three-point shooter, an excellent ball handler. She has tremendous court vision, which makes her an excellent passer, too. And she has good length for a guard. So I not only think she can play in the MAC, I think by her junior year, she could be one of the best players in the MAC.
Well, I'll take your word for it. Sounds like the Chippewas are getting a good one. And speaking of good ones, how about this guy? Zach Darris of the Rockford Lutheran Crusaders. I spent some time with him. He's next in our Spotlight segment. You're watching Overtime. When you hold a conference tournament, you would hope that the two best teams end up playing in the championship game. We had that Tuesday night in the Big Northern Tournament.
Yeah, Lutheran has been the dominant #1 team in the conference all season. Rockford Christian have been on a tear the last 3 weeks and showed some great heart, winning a pair of overtime games in tournament play. So Tuesday, it was game on between these two teams at Lutheran. Javian Hoover never takes a playoff. Watching bang inside here for the and one for Rockford Christian. Garrett Bertrand now on the drive. It's not going to go, but he stays with it, and the extra effort pays off. Senior guard Michael Hodges attacks, makes a tough bucket look pretty easy there. Now, Lutheran will get after it on defense, at least Walter Hill Jr. does. He has the steal. His shot's going to be challenged by Isaiah Johnson, but it goes. Then it's the fabulous freshman Mike Jones. Unbelievable post moves for that young man. Hill then is going to fire in a 3. He hits clutch baskets for that team. Great moment here late in the game. Senior Foster Bertrand off the bench in his final game sinks a sweet turnaround jump shot. The crowd loved it. The Lutheran Crusaders are Big Northern Conference regular season champs and Big Northern tournament champs. They won 52-37 to finish the season 16-0.
Well, that team is just loaded with talent, and the heart of that team was senior point guard Zach Darris, who capped off an amazing high school career. Here's my look at Darris in his own words in our Spotlight segment.
D-E-R-U-S, and then it's Darris. I love just running. Just keep going, running, shooting threes, getting steals. That's the kind of basketball I like to play. I think it's just the competitiveness. I've always been like super competitive, so I've always took basketball for that.
The first thing I think of Zach is competitor. When I first met him, I met him just inside the gym doors, met him and his mom and dad. And my first impression was, oh man, he's not very big. And he was real little as a freshman. Just even his freshman year, like this kid's pretty tough. He's just a competitor.
I definitely was a different player when I first came. Coming here from Durand is definitely a lot faster. We shoot a lot more threes. So I think it for sure molded me into the player that I am. I started my sophomore year. I didn't get the start right away, but halfway through I started my sophomore year, and ever since then I started.
Early in the sophomore year, we moved him up to varsity and didn't look back, and he's just competed for the 4 years he's been here. I think before his junior year started, I remember sending him a text message saying, this is your team, it's time to lead, and he's been that guy for me. We have a ton of communication, both on and off the court, and he's led this team the last 2.5 years.
I really thought it was going to happen. For a while, it was always bad news, or it was on, then it was off, so I was very happy to at least have something for my senior year.
He texted me, it seemed like every 5 minutes. What have you heard? What is going on? What's going to happen? This is terrible. This is ridiculous. I mean, from summer till leading up to the first practice. I think as excited as they were to get going and having a season, even though it was abbreviated, there's definitely a piece where it's definitely bittersweet, where they're making the most of it. As it's winding down, I think I wouldn't use the word depressed at all, I just use the word frustrated. One of the things when we got going was, hey, we might not have a shot at a state title this year, but we can get Zach his milestone.
I always wanted to score it since I came here. I mean, when I watched my sister score there, 1,000 point, it was always a goal of mine to score it. So when I heard we might not have a season, and I was like 98 points away, I was like, oh, I just wanted to score it, but it was definitely nice to score my 1,000 point.
I knew exactly where he was at. We knew he was 3 points away.
I had no clue. I kind of figured, because the play before he called a play for me, but I was like, Maybe just trying to like boost my stats a little bit.
And it looked good, went in, and the referees knew to call the timeout. So everybody knew but him. The referees knew, the scorekeeper knew, everybody knew there was a timeout coming, and it was definitely a special moment for him and for our team.
When I hit it and then he called timeout right away, I was like, oh, I got it now. I just scored my 1,000.
I said, welcome to the club. Gave him a big hug. You know, me being an alumni here, I was able to reach out to all the 1,000-point scorers, and they put a little video together for him. Hey, Zach, Coach here. Congratulations on the 1,000 points and welcome to the club. I can't begin to tell you how proud I am of you.
That was pretty cool, actually, because, I mean, some of the people I didn't really know on the list, but that was pretty cool for me to see all them talk about me like that.
Zach, he deserves it. I mean, he's worked hard. You know, he went from the time I met him, would have never dreamt. I thought this poor kid's gonna, you know, come to Lutheran and, you know, maybe play through his sophomore year, but I was completely wrong. That's why you just let it play out.
Well, as we said earlier, Darris is absolutely the straw that stirs that Lutheran team.
He is so good at those quick, deep, full-court passes that lead to transition baskets, and he plays with no fear.
None.
Well, we're going to be right back.
We wrap up this show with our play of the week.
Check this out. During Harlem's pregame introductions at East tonight, Lathan Lewis gets introduced. Then look at this. The backflip. Holy cow. That's what David and I do every Friday night when this show ends and we get off the air.
Everyone.
Yeah, just like that. Lathan Lewis makes our play of the week.
Be sure to join us each Friday night at this time for Overtime. We also rebroadcast the show Sunday mornings at 9 on Fox 39.
And remember, for highlights and scores anytime, go to our website, mystateline.com. Next week, we're going to do it again, only with football as the focus. That does it for this episode.
Enjoy your weekend.
Overtime, sponsored by Wendy's. They got you for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything in between.
We wrap up this show with our play of the week.
Check this out. During Harlem's pregame introductions at East tonight, Lathan Lewis gets introduced. Then look at this. The backflip. Holy cow. That's what David and I do every Friday night when this show ends and we get off the air.
Everyone.
Yeah, just like that. Lathan Lewis makes our play of the week.
Be sure to join us each Friday night at this time for Overtime. We also rebroadcast the show Sunday mornings at 9 on Fox 39.
And remember, for highlights and scores anytime, go to our website, mystateline.com. Next week, we're going to do it again, only with football as the focus. That does it for this episode.
Enjoy your weekend.
Overtime, sponsored by Wendy's. They got you for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything in between.